So the searches have been on for the past 2 days and counting. Additional teams and machines are now being sent to finish the counting of cash because some machines have conked off. The income tax department had leads about liquor taxes not being paid and money being siphoned off. The locations where the searches are on are being linked to a senior Congress party leader and Rajya Sabha member of Parliament, Dheeraj Sahu. India Today's Munish Pandey has been tracking the story very closely and gets us our top story tonight.
Almirahs full of cash, running into crores of rupees. This is what the income tax officials found in their raids on businesses linked to Congress's Rajya Sabha MP from Jharkhand, Dheeraj Sahu. The raids targeting Bodh Distilleries Private Limited and Baldio Sahu and group of companies started on Wednesday. Among the locations raided are offices, factories and houses linked to the MP's family and associates in Sambalpur, Bolangir, Titilagad, Bodh, Sundargarh, Rourkela, Bhubaneswar in Odisha and Ranchi and Lohardaga in Jharkhand. The two raided companies are run by the MP and his relatives. The recovered money is kept at the SBI branches in Sambalpur and Bolangir, where the counting is still on. While 8 machines are being used to count the notes, more units may be brought in. The income tax department is yet to give a formal statement, but sources say the cash haul exceeds 210 crore rupees. The IT will now trace the source of the money to see if it's accounted for or illegal. The raids have sparked a political showdown in Jharkhand.
जो व्यवसायी होंगे उनके पास पैसे नहीं होंगे, हाँ, उनके अडानी अंबानी के घर में अगर देखा जाए तो, हाँ, तो व्यवसाय जो करेंगे उसके उनका जो व्यवसाय है कच्चे का व्यवसाय है, ये नहीं जानते लोग, हाँ, उनके पास डेली नगद पैसे आते हैं करोड़ों रुपए में। ये सारी चीजों को भी देखना चाहिए। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों को राज्य के हित से, राज्य के विकास से, राज्य की जनता के सुख दुख से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। इन्हें सिर्फ और सिर्फ कीचड़ उछालना है।
इतने पैसे मिले कि मशीन खराब हो जाए, मशीन जवाब दे दे, तो ये पैसे कोई कांग्रेसी सांसद या कांग्रेसी विधायक के पास ही हो सकते हैं। मैं तो कहता हूं कि ये सीधे सीधे मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का भी मामला है। इसमें इन्फोर्समेंट जो डायरेक्टरेट है उनको इंटरवेन करना चाहिए और गहन इसकी जांच करनी चाहिए और जो भी दोषी है कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi cited the cash haul to target the opposition and said all ill-gotten money will be accounted for. The Jharkhand BJP has demanded an ED probe against the Congress MP. Dheeraj Sahu and his relatives have a thriving liquor business in Odisha where they run distilleries. With Satyajit Kumar, Bureau Report, India Today.
And the Prime Minister, when he took to that social media platform, he spoke of Modi's guarantee that every penny would be accounted for and every penny of the taxpayer would be brought back into the system. He'd made this promise earlier. Let's listen in.
इन पार्टियों के पास घोटालों का ही अनुभव है, इसलिए अगर कोई गारंटी है इनकी तो एक ही गारंटी है, घोटालों की गारंटी। अब देश को तय करना है क्या ये घोटालों की गारंटी को देश स्वीकार करेगा। मैं आपके बीच में से पल करके बड़ा हुआ हूं, तो आज मैं भी एक गारंटी देना चाहता हूं। अगर उनकी घोटाले की गारंटी है तो मोदी की भी एक गारंटी है और मेरी गारंटी है, हर घोटालेबाज पर कार्रवाई की गारंटी, हर चोर लुटेरे पर कार्रवाई की गारंटी।
So two major developments today, of course, both completely unrelated, but both connected with opposition members of parliament. Mahua Moitra expelled as Lok Sabha MP in a cash for query case. Opposition alleges vendetta. Income tax searches on properties linked to Congress Rajya Sabha MP Dheeraj Sahu. Once again, the opposition says this is misuse of government machinery to target opposition leaders. But the question is, does this weaken the opposition's attack on the Narendra Modi government, or does it strengthen their case that this is a government witch hunt misusing official machinery? Joining me on this special broadcast, Aparajita Sarangi, BJP Member of Parliament and spokesperson. Syed Abbas is a political analyst who will give us the Congress Party perspective. And Dr. Vikram Singh is former Director General of Police, once again, to give us a legal perspective on this matter. But my first question is to India Today's Munish Pandey, tracking the story very closely. Munish, what's the latest with these searches and the alleged link to an opposition MP?
Well, Gaurav, as far as Income Tax Department is concerned, what we have been given to understand is that the initial tip-off by the income tax officials was that there is a liquor company which is involved in tax evasion and there is illegal unaccounted money with them. Now, when the IT department started probing, they got to know that this company and the individuals linked to this company also have links with Congress Rajya Sabha member Deepak Sahu, and when his premises were raided, unaccounted money in huge amount was recovered by the IT officials. So far, we have been given to understand is that the IT officials have counted more than 210 crore rupees in 9 almiras, and the counting is still going on, and they are expecting that it might go beyond 250 crore rupees. Gaurav.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Aparajita Sarangi, the opposition says this is government witch hunt. Government machinery is being used to target opposition leaders. You heard Mitesh Thakur, Jharkhand minister, who said these are people who are engaged in the business where a lot of cash comes in. It's deposited at an appropriate time. Keval कीचड़ उछाल रही है सरकार.
Here is a Rajya Sabha MP from Congress who is indulging in corruption, and everything is out. We are seeing the notes splashed on the television screens. And I think this reflects the policy of the Congress, and at the same time, this reflects the policy and intention of Prime Minister Modi's government. We have heard Prime Minister Modi today. He is up in arms against anybody who indulges in corruption. घोटालों की जांच होगी और घोटाला करने वालों पर वार होगा. That's what Prime Minister Modi says. In fact, if you see the track record of 9 years of Prime Minister Modi's government, there has hardly been any scam. And compare this particular period with the yesteryears. The number of scams that were there, I think one page in a notebook was not enough to list out those.
Let me take this then to Syed Abbas.
As I said earlier, I repeat, this reflects the culture of the Congress.
Fair enough.
And here is a government which means transparency and honesty. Yes.
You saying it means transparency and honesty. Syed Abbas, 200 crore and counting. Machines have counted off, cash is still being counted. Now, is the MP whose name is being linked to the searches and premises accountable or not? Because is there merit in the BJP asking why are Mallikarjun Kharge and Sonia Gandhi silent on these searches?
My dear friend Gaurav, the interesting pattern and point here is undoubtedly I completely accept and agree to the fact that there needs to be a clear-cut investigation on this. Let them be probed. The accountants of Mr. Dheeraj Sahu are answerable to the CBI, EDIT accordingly and respectively. But the fact of the matter, if Dheeraj Sahu needs to come out of this, all he needs to do is join a washing machine party like a BJP, like Himanta Biswa Sarma, Mukul Roy, Suvendu Adhikari, who after joining them slowed down the process of CBI, EDIT. Because BJP is a washing machine, sir. Any corrupt neta needs to enter this party and get out clean. Any case updates on the Sharda chit fund scam? Aparajita ji, can you answer me? Isn't it true? Not just that. Agar घोटालों पे war होना है, corruption पे war होना है, let me tell you, Lok Ayukta raided a BJP MLA Virupaksha. His
Okay.
son was caught accepting a bribe of 40 lakhs rupees. What
So
is the
your
update on
point
that? Why
is-
Modi doesn't speak on that?
Your point is action is one-sided. Dr. Vikram Singh, merit in the opposition, saying government machinery is being used just to target opposition leaders when cash machines conk off and when money counting process remains in progress even after 2 days. Is this targeting just of the opposition, sir?
Gaurav ji, it seems that loot ki dukan has really indeed very deep pockets. Sweeping generalizations will not serve the purpose of justice in the sense that all these raids and investigations are in the purview of judicial scrutiny. It is not for any independent investigating agency to pile up or trump up charges. It is impossible to sweep these 250 crore rupees underneath the carpet. Somebody has to explain, especially Mr. Dheeraj, our honorable member of parliament, who declared his income as 1 crore in the year 2018 and also his assets to 34 crores with 2 crores of loan. Where have these 250 crores come from? This is something he has a lot of explaining to do. And under these circumstances, to say that it is witch hunting, I don't think it is a police station or a chowki or any department has it in them to plant 250 crores like this. Currency machines conking off one after the other, and to say that this is a planted charge. Well, you please explain to the ED, because I have a strong lurking suspicion that Prevention of Money Laundering Act will also be invoked apart from the IT Act and other major acts also. It
Fair
is
enough.
not a simple getaway. And Gauravji, I think it will take some time for him to come up clean, because it is incontrovertible evidence which he will not be able to explain. For a person whose declared assets are 32 lakh crores and annual income of 1 crore, to have a collection of 250 crores will not be easy to explain at all.
Fair enough, but let me take that question that Syed Abbas raised on the BJP washing machine, Aparajita Sarangi, because opposition leaders say the agencies and the processes are all targeted to silence opposition voices. Several opposition leaders who've since joined the BJP no longer have searches, raids, arrests or due process of law being followed. Syed Abbas spoke of the Narda sting, he spoke of the Sharda chit fund, from Suvendu Adhikari to Mukul Roy to even Narayan Rane, and this finds a mention in that letter that the opposition had written to the Prime Minister about misuse of agencies, ma'am.
So I'll give a very simple answer to this. The people of the nation cannot be fooled. India has really come up over the past so many number of years. People have become very mature. They will definitely not vote for a government which actually does not do what it says. Here is a government which does what it says and what it thinks. We walk the talk. In fact, we have heard Prime Minister Modi number of times everywhere. And this is a government which is extremely popular with the people. The Chhattisgarh election results, the Madhya Pradesh election results, and Rajasthan election results, in fact, are enough to tell all these people, the detractors, the critics, that the people of the nation are with Prime Minister Modi and his policy, his intention, and his working culture. I think law will take its course, whosoever he or she is, whether belonging to Bharatiya Janata Party or any other party, heads will roll if the person concerned is indulging in unethical conduct or indulging in corruption. So there is absolutely no sparing. You know, wherever something has happened, we have gone ahead and law has to take its course.
Syed Abbas, the opposition too can approach courts if they think that due process of law is not being followed. But is it not wrong to allege a witch hunt? Take, for example, the current case, the income tax searches that are currently on. Can an individual get away by saying, I'm opposition, I'm targeting the government, therefore government machinery is being used against me, and continue with what may perhaps be illegal? Courts have to decide.
Gaurav sir, I completely accept your point that courts' law is above all else. Any political party or any political minister or a neta. But the fact of the matter is, Aparajita Singh ji mentions about winning Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and the mandate. Respective ma'am, undoubtedly the people have voted for you. But that does not give you a clean sheet that you are all not corrupt. You did not answer me, ma'am. Here in Karnataka, your BJP MLA, Virupaksha's son, was caught accepting bribe on his behalf of rupees 40 lakhs. He is now answerable to the Lokayukta. I see an interesting pattern, ma'am. I'd like to
So
know.
he's
I heard
answerable
a
to the
Washington
Lokayukta, you
remark.
say. So is due process of law on or not? But we'll get Aparajita Sarangi to respond to that. On individual cases, I want to also bring in Dr. Vikram Singh. These searches that are currently on, sir, does this take the sting out of the opposition attack on the government on the issue of corruption? I'll come to Mahua Moitra in just a moment, but the current instance that you see of these searches that are on and these wads of cash that you see so neatly stacked in that cupboard, sir.
Gauravji, this is most authentic. In my career of 36 years, seldom have I seen this level of convincing recoveries. And to say that these recoveries are planted or they were generated out of cash, as the Honorable Minister of Jharkhand said, that this is a heavy cash transaction business. I have yet to come across a single business that has cash transactions amounting to 250 crores neatly stacked. They may go from a shop to shop where cash transactions of petty amount may happen. But to have a collection of 250 crores is totally unconvincing, bizarre, and unacceptable. Well, give this explanation to any court of law or to the PMLA court and see what happens to you. This is absolutely unconvincing. I would like to compliment the IT and the IT officials who conducted this very successful raid. And as you very rightly mentioned, if you have any grievance, please take pains to go to the court and say that this is a perverse and a vindictive action on part of the IT and get an order in your favor. You may have given a list of those perverse actions and those that have been ignored. Again, take pains to go to the court and get a suitable order from the court for appropriate investigation, follow-up and prosecution.
Aparajita Sarangi, the opposition has actually come out all guns blazing in the Mahua Moitra case, for example, alleging, one, that the member of parliament that time was not given an opportunity to defend herself on the floor of the house. They also say this action shows BJP's brute majority and force to silence opposition voices, ma'am.
Parliamentary Standing Committee on Privileges and Ethics sat thrice. And during three sittings, we heard the complainant and the defendant. Now, the defendant was Madam Mahua Moitra. We heard her for more than 1 hour. And you know, there is an expression in English, opportunity of being heard. This opportunity was given to her. We heard her at length, and there were certain questions that had been asked. And you know what happened then and there. In fact, all of you had reported. Certain questions were asked by the chairman of the committee, and she started fuming and fretting. She was extremely angry, very uncomfortable, and she used unparliamentary language for the chairman and walked out of the room. She refused to answer the questions. 1 full day had been dedicated by the committee to listen to her. But after 2 hours of sitting, she went out of the room. We wanted to sit and talk to her and listen to her. Now, at the same time, let me tell you, since I'm a member of the committee,
yes,
we went through the affidavit of Darshan Hiranandani, which was a sworn affidavit, sworn before the Deputy Consulate General of Dubai. Now, thereafter, we also asked for a report, an inquiry report from the Ministry of Information Technology, Electronics, and of course, Ministry of Home Affairs and other related ministries. They also gave their report regarding the truth behind, or rather the fact behind the sharing of login credentials by Mahua Moitra with somebody in Dubai. So I think after looking into everything, the Parliamentary Standing Committee submitted a very comprehensive, detailed report.
Okay.
And the report was discussed today in the Lok Sabha, and we know what happened thereafter. There was voting today, and I must tell you, there was voting 3 times during the sittings of the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Every time the majority voted against Madam Mahua Moitra ji. So today also she lost in the Lok Sabha. So I think there is something called ethical conduct.
I'm glad, ma'am.
Okay, the principle of natural justice, this claim that falls flat, the BJP says Mahua Moitra had an opportunity to put forward her point of view on the 2nd of November. The ethics committee waited for her. As Aparajita Sarangi says, she fretted, she fumed, she stormed out. That due process was followed, insists the BJP.
Aparajita ji, we are all aware of the affidavit signed by Darshan Hiranandani. But the fact of the matter is, ma'am, when such a serious decision was to be taken, why wasn't this businessman summoned by the panel committee and discussed? No, one mere affidavit is fine. You're a great, respectable member of parliament, and so is Mahua Moitra. There is no evidence on her. There is no proof of cash and gifts. She was not even allowed to speak inside the parliament. Isn't it fair, man? The fact of the matter, Aparajita ji, Simriti Irani, Mahua Moitra, you're all guiding lights for lakhs and crores of women of this country, but you're not given no proof of cash gifts. Why, ma'am? No evidence. Why wasn't Hiranandani summoned for the same by the panel committee? Why? Because he closed cahoots with your government in the dirty tricks department of the BJP? Ma'am, you are a great woman leader, and so is Mahua Moitra. This is not equal, and this is absolutely unfair.
Okay. Ma'am, you want to quickly respond before I bring in Dr. Vikram Singh?
See, in 2005, a similar incident had happened, and 11 members of parliament had been expelled by the then Speaker, Lok Sabha, Shri Somnath Chatterjee ji. At that point of time, also the members of parliament had not been allowed to speak for the simple reason that they had been heard in the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Privileges and Ethics. Once the opportunity of being heard has been given, and she has been heard at length, there is no reason why she should be asked to speak in the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha was deliberating upon the content of the report submitted by the committee, and everybody was heard, both from the ruling dispensation and the opposition party. So I think today again there was voting. As I said earlier, I would repeat, there was voting, and she lost because the majority went against her.
Dr. Vikram Singh,
but where is the proof of the cash?
Dr. Vikram Singh, last 30 seconds that I have on this part of the show is the principle of
ethical conduct.
Okay, go on, Aparajita Sarangi, quickly finish your point, ma'am.
Aparajita ji, proof of cash and gifts and evidence, ma'am. That's
no,
all
I
I'm
was
asking.
just saying.
Aparajita Sarangi, complete your point, ma'am.
I was just saying that. Yes, I was just saying that as a parliamentarian, we are supposed to behave in a certain manner, in a responsible manner. We cannot demonstrate unethical conduct. We cannot behave in a manner unbecoming of a parliamentarian. This is one part. Number two, parliamentary procedures have to be followed. She did not follow those procedures. Number three, the affidavit was sworn. Please remember, I use this word "sworn" with a lot of emphasis.
Fair enough. Let me quickly get Dr. Vikram Singh, last 30 seconds that I have on this part of the show. Dr. Vikram Singh, those principles of natural justice would mean the accused is given an opportunity to defend herself. Is Aparajita Sarangi, or is the parliament right in saying, or the speaker right in saying, she had an opportunity in that committee to give her point of view? Here the discussion was only on the findings of that report.
Gaurav ji, I am in no illusion that the honorable members of the Ethics and the Privileges Committee are people with a lot of considerable wisdom and sense of truth, integrity, honesty, and justice. And to question their wisdom of perversion and one-sided action is absolutely nonsensical, and I take the strongest exception to that. Everything was transparent, and who am I to question whether they did not call somebody from Dubai, Hiranandani or whoever, but that it is for them to see who they choose to call, and if there is something on an affidavit, as Aparajita ji has mentioned, something on oath and an affidavit is sufficient and incontrovertible evidence on which reliance can be made.
Proof of cash and gifts,
okay, I'll more on the story in the days ahead, but I've run out of time on this part of the show. Aparajita Sarangi, Syed Abbas and Dr. Vikram Singh, as always, for joining me here. Many thanks.